up? What is up? What is up? We are back this week in White Supremacy. I am your allergy-filled host.
Yeah, well,
I'm saying Siri X, co-founder CEO of One Minute Media. To my immediate rights,
it's a miracle.
Oh, you did it on time this time.
look at that. We got a time off.
It's your girl, Big Blessing with the Big Blessing Miracle. Just here on this Tuesday, ready to talk and turn up.
Come on, let's turn up. And my brother,
It's your boy, Trevor LS, never like supremacy, next level shaman.
fresh off the road.
You feel me?
I came in ready.
Yes,
You know what
hell yeah.
I'm saying? All right, and sir, you have your halo on today.
Yeah.
That means positive fruit is here today?
absolutely not. No, this is severely agitated. And
It's like the Halo still got a gangster lean, you know what I'm saying?
yeah. Yeah, no, it's a severely agitated and inexplicably displeased. I just woke up today just in a bad mood.
Oh,
so,
wow.
yeah.
It's on a Tuesday, just no reason.
Yeah, just one of them ones, bro.
We did have a busy day yesterday.
And I'm like, from Friday to now, I'm like, my social battery is just drained.
Yeah, I feel you.
Like-
Right, because you were out and about.
I've been
running the
moving.
streets of Brooklyn, New York City.
Come on, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, out here in these roads, bro.
Yeah, I felt that way in New Orleans, but I had a chance to kind of, but obviously I'm a little under the weather. But, really, actually, I lost my voice cheering.
Oh, okay.
Cheering on the next
Oh, man.
President of the United States.
Man.
Oh, my
Dr.
God.
Cornell Wests, y'all. You know what I'm
Come on,
saying? Come on. Yeah.
Can we actually say wake up, Mr. West?
Ooh.
Wake up, Mr. West.
Well, which Mr. West, though? Because previously we did have a Mr. West
Yes.
run for president.
Who
in
lost his
2020.
fucking mind.
Absolutely. And it was a disaster. And it was really connected. He had Trump's people helping them and the whole. Fuck Donald Trump. We're going to get to him. And there was an idea in people's minds that Kanye was running to try to take black votes away, but he did it in such a haphazard way. And then he went and used money to hire Nazis, like literal Nazis. So we have to differentiate our Wests, right?
Yeah.
This isn't Kanye West. It's Cornell West.
Cornell West Side.
And Cornell put an announcement out. Did you want to play a little bit of the Cornell West 2024 announcement?
In these bleak times,
They are bleak.
I have decided to run for truth and justice,
That's
which
a
takes the form
1970s.
of running for president of the United States
Jazz
as a
is
candidate
eternal.
for the People's Party. I enter in the quest for truth. I enter in the quest for justice. And the presidency is just one vehicle to pursue that truth and justice, what I've been trying to do all of my life.
All right. I think so.
I
I
come
won't
from a
pass that.
tradition
You
where
can pause
I
it. You can pause it. So I turn to our director of advocacy.
It sounded like you said you was about to say Ike Turner.
Oh no, I turn. Lord have mercy. Just bringing up all the problematic black men.
I mean, it's Miracle's turn to talk, so why not?
Oh, okay.
Miracle loves her.
She loves
Problematic brother.
all the problematic black men.
She does. She will defend you.
Have you ever shot bail to Ike Turner? Have you?
That's low. So
Tina is not even in the ground
she's
yet.
not even in the ground.
I didn't even
yet.
think about that. I'm
That
sorry. I did
movie
not even
scared
think about
me
that.
so
Yes.
much.
Yes. Come on.
That I could. What was the guy who played Ike
Lawrence
Turner?
Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne.
I could not watch any Lawrence Fishburne movies.
Can you watch
He
The
was still
Matrix?
Larry Fishburne at that time.
Like I could not watch. Anytime I saw him come on screen, I would freak out.
It was almost
because
like
it was just like so intense.
it's almost like when a white person plays the racist too well. It's like, wait a second.
like Edward Norton in American History X. It's
You
like
kind of played that too well.
Yeah.
Like, so back to Cornell West. Miracle, you are director of advocacy and policy. You are, you've been engaged in political conversations. Cornell West, a third-party bid, the People's Party, founded by a former campaign staff member for Bernie Sanders. Does Dr. Cornell West have a chance to become, what would he be, 47? Our 47th president of the United States.
I feel like whenever there's like a Shaft theme song that like introduces your presidential bid, that's probably indicated that like maybe this was not the race for you.
Damn.
But
Miracle said it is the 50th anniversary of hip hop. You could have like
Yeah, right.
thrown a
changed it.
little fight the power in there. So.
Like I think he'll do well, right? He has a name, and he's allegedly going to do the whole hope. I'm running on hope.
Okay.
At the time when everybody is just so like horrible and evil.
True.
I'm holding fast that Tim Scott is going to be the person that the Republicans are going to pick, just because I think he's a better candidate.
And you want him to win?
I don't want him to win. I just think he is better.
You kind of was like, I'm still holding hope that Tim Scott comes to save our republic.
I think Tim Scott is a foot away from being as bad as DeSantis.
Yes,
like,
I agree.
He'll be like, we're going to take away your rights, but I'm going to tell you I listened to your opinion.
100%.
DeSantis is like, we're going to take away your rights, and I'm not going to listen to you, and I'm going to put you in prison and jail.
Yes.
Tim Scott is going to be like, I heard what you said. You're wrong, and this is why you have no rights.
Damn.
I think that my problem with Cornell West is like, I think he just has beef with people. And it turns political, and he's just like, Marion, I don't like you. We're not rocking. Everybody else, you're not rocking with me, so I'm gonna run for president. My hope is that his campaign really creates a passion for people to get involved in the electoral process and gets people more engaging and learning about what the presidency can do. I do think he'll be like a Ross Perot spoiler candidate. But like Biden has to win, and if he needs to stop tripping, and he needs to like put together policies, or he's going to lose. I really do think that this is his race to lose.
And it's not going to be the fault of Cornell West, you know what I'm saying?
No.
Because, I mean, we just seen Biden make this deal with the Republicans on the debt ceiling that completely decimated the whole student loan piece. Now folks got to start paying their student loans again. And, you know, it was a lot of those things that those promises are pushed off the table. So if Biden loses, it's going to be his loss. But this is what Dr. Cornell West said. He said, neither political party wants to tell the truth about Wall Street, about Ukraine, about the Pentagon, about big tech. He called former President Donald Trump a neo-fascist, and he called President Biden a milquetoast neoliberal.
I don't think that's inaccurate. I don't think either of those sentiments are wrong.
Yes, my vote.
Between him, Marion, and Robert F. Kennedy.
No, Marion is who?
I think she's like the Green Party candidate.
Oh, really?
She's also...
I'm not familiar.
Yeah, I don't know anything about her.
The cast of characters. She's the lady who was like, you need to manifest your illnesses away. And all that had that controversy.
Okay.
She claimed she did not say that, but people receipts prove
So she's
otherwise.
an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, Robert F. Kennedy.
Anti-vaxxer.
He did his whole thing with Elon Musk.
Yeah.
He has a lot of like Republican support. So, but again, is this... Now, again, I'm coming to you, Miracle, for this question that I want to open it up to everybody as well. Is this the fault? Because remember, like, once Biden and Harris said we're running again, you know, the Democratic Party basically said, like, there's going to be a closed primary. They're not going to have no challengers. They're not going to do no debates with the Democrats. So if you close it up to, you know, other possible Democrats challenging you, isn't this what you get?
Correct.
Then you get a cast of characters like a Robert F. Kennedy and a Dr. Cornell West, right?
Correct. And I need Warren to be like, we're not doing this. I really need her. We need a Warren presidency. We need somebody with a plan. But this just shows what happens when democracy isn't actually fought for and protected. We shouldn't have had a closed primary. We should have had people running. We should have had people putting issues forward. And I do, especially because I know people say this is ableist and ageist. I don't think Biden has another 4 years
of life.
I don't think Biden has another 4 years in him. And I think we need to learn from RBG and the Feinstein fiasco in California.
You know what?
And
you make a great point.
a lot of these older individuals who have accomplished a lot really need to figure out how they're going to graciously allow for people who are more closely impacted by the issues to take these positions of power.
You make a great point because we saw, like you said, Ruth Bader Ginsburg wanting to supposedly wanting to wait for a Hillary Clinton presidency because she wanted the first woman president to nominate her successor. Hillary lost, and then Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, and Trump was able to fill the court up with his folks, right? And then Dianne Feinstein, how old is she now? She's like 89 or 90 or something. She's pretty old. Supposedly she's having like some dementia issues, possibly. And, you know, that's another question, like, but she's still there and they need her votes, but who's controlling it? And so I agree with you, Miracle. Like, what is the graceful way some of these elders can gracefully exit before they have to deal with some issues? So I'm coming to you, Trouble. This is what Cornell West said. Do we have what it takes? We shall see. But some of us are going to go down fighting, go down swinging with style and a smile. What you think, man?
So I think the universe works in interesting ways.
Yes.
Because I remember a couple of weeks ago, we were wondering, like, what better candidates are out there
Right.
than a Biden, DeSantis, Trump, Tim Scott?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And this just kind of came out of nowhere. I don't
Absolutely.
think anyone thought or knew that this was coming.
Yeah.
And it kind of was like the universe answering their questions like, oh, here's someone
Yes.
that could potentially be better than all of the people you know are about to run for president.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like I don't know enough about Cornell West. I don't know his problematic traits and stuff like that, but I would imagine him to be a lot less problematic than the people we
Yes. Definitely
have
than
so
his
far.
namesake, right?
Yeah, facts.
And as somebody that has met and interacted with Cornell West a lot, beautiful human being. I mean, super, you know, loving brother, passionate, obviously very, very highly intelligent. And so I've never had a negative experience personally with Cornell. In fact, all of the experience I've had have been extremely positive. So I'm for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm rocking with brother. Farouk?
Is that an endorsement?
Oh yeah. I mean, if you're telling me, Miracle, these are my choices. I mean, Trouble laid it out.
Is it better
Biden,
people?
Harris, you know, Trump, DeSantis, Tim Scott, Nikki Haley, Mike Pence, you know, Robert F. Kennedy. I mean, Cornell West is obviously, to me, the person who has the history of like caring about people like me. And like the issues that me and my community face, it's not even close. You know what I'm saying? I think, and like you said, you know, if Biden and Harris, you know, are continuing to make deals that negatively affect me and my community, I can't just ride for them. Why? Because they got a D on their name? Nah, we're not going for that. And not in 2024. Like, you're in charge, you got an executive order, you got to do something, man. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not running on a what if now. I'm going to come in and remember it was policing and I'm going to do all this stuff. You ain't done it. Now you got some time to do it, but you better get busy. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks.
Or else I will be voting for Dr. Cornell West. My brother, Farouk.
I wonder what the Vegas odds are.
0.00000.
Like, you know, I just wonder who else is going to enter the group chat.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and I also want to know who he's going to pick as his running mate.
Wouldn't it be, hey, there's a positive sister coming out of Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania to be exact.
Summer Lee?
As a congresswoman,
Man.
I think Summer Lee would be a hellified.
Well,
I mean, and
yeah.
I don't know. I have not spoken with Summer Lee. I don't know if she. I'm just
The
saying.
branding of West and Lee would be like endless, though. You can do like Wesley, like
What I would
something. I'm
what
trying to think.
What I would love to see though, brother, is like Kanye announce he's running again, and then like a West versus West debate.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. Because Cornell West would just like absolutely like destroy this man in a debate. But then Kanye would get emotional. And
I don't listen to people broken to me.
Yo, you talking about books? I don't read them.
Yeah.
So it would be
Me neither,
amazing.
yeah. Me neither.
It'd be amazing to watch. So
No, I mean, I think you made a great point. You know, the ticket is so divided at this point, and then also, again, we've interacted with Cornell. We got him on a bloody wall. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, there's a lot of love for Cornell West in this room. But the point that you raised about like, you know, the agreements and deals that Biden Harris are passing right now that is just like, at this point, this is par for the course for them.
100%.
They're not really showing that they're going to be any different than the last 4 years. So, and I think like when we were on NBC and we were talking about this, like, and as Treble highlighted, what other options do we have? You've kind of pushed us to this independent person.
100%.
This other, the Republican ticket is so divisive at this juncture.
Right.
And it won't be, I don't think, settled for another 5 months before we actually have like a clear and cut, maybe 1 or 2 front runners. So even then, the Republican Party's in shambles. The Democratic Party is going to be left. We don't have a choice but to go outside of the typical voting pattern. Right,
if we want something,
if we want something substantive,
I think,
right?
Particularly like if we say we're progressives and want a candidate has progressive values, and we're not seeing now. Again, you have time, right? Normally, the reason you like a primary is because you can have a more progressive candidate run, and then it kind of pulls the ticket to a more progressive. That was Bernie made you kind of consider at least like Medicare for all and some of the things that he was suggesting because he had that popularity. You know what I'm saying? Now, it'd be interesting to see what Bernie says because Bernie's already came out and said Biden-Harris. However, Bernie and Cornell Wests are friends.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. However, I think, like you said, if you say you're a progressive and you believe in progressive values, then it's hard to find the progressive platform with Biden and Harris. We've seen a very centrist platform, but nothing progressive.
What I'm curious about is like, who's doing voodoo on Joe Biden to keep him alive? It's like a fucking Weekend in Bernie's.
He tripped over the sandbag. Yeah,
it's like 300 niggas walked across that same stage, my nigga. Like, and you blaming it on the stage.
It was a sandbag. Like that was holding up the teleprompter.
Listen, let's keep it tall, bro. Joe Biden's blood type is prune juice at this point.
No.
But at the same time, if anybody else trips, right, it's just you tripped, right?
Yeah, nah.
But when Biden trips and dude rides his bike every day. He probably does more daily exercise than most people in the United States. However, when he falls off his bike and when he trips, because he's 80, right? But because he's 80, it plays into this idea of
him doing his best Prince Philip impression.
Right, he's old, he's frail. It just plays into that idea, and then the guys are running and trying to catch him, and so it does play into that. And many people, even people that are progressive but Democrats, have said like, "Yo, man, like I like the dude." Kind of like, to me, Miracle made the best point, but it's like, okay. You're lucid now.
Right. But what about at lunchtime?
Get your man, Miracle. But maybe in 2 years, or, life is already a delicate balance, right? Just for anybody. For anybody. I'm just saying. I'm not even trying to.
That was the most polite way of just saying this nigga's ready to kick the bucket.
No, I'm just saying, when you're 80, you know what I'm saying? It's just like anything could happen.
How is what I said worse than what you're saying right
I was going to say, I hear a joke in that because it's like, it's clear that Joe didn't have the delicate balance.
He did not have. You're not going
to
save his Miracle. Well,
I'm trying to find this quote, but I can't find it.
Okay.
Oh, man.
But the New Zealand Prime Minister, she was a woman, of course. She resigned after 6 years, and she was talking about, as leaders, you have to know when it's time to let go.
Yes.
And you have to know when it's time to allow somebody else to follow behind you and continue the work.
I'm going to tell you what right now. Father Time is following behind
Stop. Stop.
Real close.
But Joe Biden is someone who is the reason why we have the student debt crisis. He's the one who ushered in this legislation that prevents people from filing bankruptcy, prevents people from negotiating their own student loans, requires all this compounding interest. He's the one who did this.
Yeah.
So he has lived a life to start a problem, see the result, and for some reason is unable and unwilling to actually resolve this problem that he alone, well, not he alone, but that he really spearheaded in creating. And I think that a lot of times people feel uncomfortable when we talk about the boomer generation and these older generations stepping aside. It's because they have this entrenched connection to maintaining their legacy through upholding these policies that literally harm Black and brown people the most.
Yes.
And that is why we're saying people need to step aside. I know I'm not a Bernie bro, but I did like Bernie. I did like what he stood for. Do I want him to run again?
No, because he's old too.
He's old, but it's just like you've done what you can. You built this party, but I don't always. Sometimes, like Tiana Taylor. I don't know if y'all know who she is, but like Tiana Taylor, she was an artist and she stepped back and she retired and she said, I'm not a performing artist anymore.
Right.
And what has she done? She's taught Lola. She's taught Summer Walker. She's teaching Lotto. She's teaching all these upcoming performers how to perform, how to have stage presence.
Yeah.
And people are falling not only in love with her, but these artists. And sometimes it's not meant for you to be the person.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
To
That's
lead.
okay.
Sometimes it's meant for you to be the person to help and support. And I wish Biden could understand that maybe his time has come and somebody else should be able to take the reins.
It is. I did just want to say, he ran saying he was only going to be here 4 years. Like he said that. He said, I'm going to just hold it down for 4 years. And then it is wild that like, even like you said, in the progressive space, Bernie is still the face. As a older, because Bernie got to be in his 70s, right? Yeah. And it's like, what is the problem with developing younger, more, voices, stronger voices of color? It seems like even in these progressive spaces, it's difficult for them to get over looking at like this old white man as the person at the top. You were saying it?
Jack just sent me this AI Joe Biden campaign ad, and I'm gonna play it because this shit is great.
This is not real. Let's put it out
AI.
there.
It's AI. But the Daily Show posted this.
These jokers. No, I'm serious. Look at these fucking shit birds. We can't let them back in, smearing shit on the walls of democracy. Now, hey, I know I'm old as fuck. I get it, America. I'm tired. I'm slowing down. I make Al Pacino look like Timothy fucking Chalamet. I know I wasn't your first choice in 2020. Hell, I wasn't my first choice. You think I like getting a syringe of B12 plunged in my ass every morning just to stay alert enough to run this country? Shit, no. But these are the cards we're dealt, Jack. I'm going to be so hopped up on goofballs and cocaine, I'm going to make Don Jr. look normal. Reality is I can't step down and let who? Kamala run? Have you seen her as Veep? Get the fuck out of here. My priorities in 2024. Number one is I'm not the guy who sent a violent clown brigade to kill Nancy Pelosi. So all I can say is a vote for me is a vote for 4 more years of holding fascism at bay. Or as long as this ticker keeps pumping a minimal amount of blood for consciousness. And if you can't tell this is an AI generated voice, then lots of luck in your senior year. Whatever the fuck that means.
Actually,
no, I'm serious. Look at these fucking shit birds.
That'll actually make me want to vote for this dude. For real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm fucking crying. That was a great ad. And there was a lot of truth in that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he just said, like, y'all, look, yes, I get it, I'm old. Y'all, like, you gotta confront it. You gotta confront it. Speaking of old white men, or speaking of, what do you say, a clown brigade?
He said, I'm not the one that said a clown brigade.
He's right. He's 100% right. That was amazing.
Oh my God.
Now, Miracle, I'm coming to you.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you.
I see you over there multitasking. Now, we had a running conversation on the show about whether or not Donald Trump, because we're still staying with presidential candidates, and he's a
presidential candidate. Donald Trump.
He's the leading Republican in percentage-wise right now. However, Donald Trump. Now this might be a record. Donald Trump was caught on tape, not in one case.
Oh man!
But both cases that he has right now. One, he was caught on tape talking about classified documents he kept after leaving the White House, and he was caught on tape, or what's his name? Alan Bragg in the Manhattan case say they have a recording of Trump and a witness in a Manhattan DA tape. Damn. So now Trump's on tape in both of these cases. Now, supposedly Miracle. Now, and then it said the classified document Trump admitted he had on tape is now missing. Miracle. He has to be at this point. He gotta be going down.
One of the documents he tried to flush down the toilet.
And so supposedly his lawyers are meeting with the Justice Department and they're getting ready to charge him. In this case, he put a Truth Social bomb out. Where was this? Where's this Truth Social bomb? This is Donald Trump, all caps.
All caps when I rap.
How can the DOJ possibly charge me who did nothing wrong? When no other presidents were charged, when Joe Biden won't be charged for anything. So, I mean, it's the greatest witch hunt.
Including the fact that he has 18,000 boxes, so many boxes, more boxes than you've ever seen. He has them.
So, Miracle, this man is on tape. The document that he talked about is missing.
Is he in jail?
Well, they're talking to the...
Is he in
They're
jail?
talking to the DOJ. He's been indicted.
Is he in the big house?
Not yet.
Have you seen him sit at the table?
We saw him at the table.
Did you see him at the, you saw him at the table?
He was at the table, and somebody, speaking of tables, when he was at that table, somebody wasn't at this table, Miracle.
Did you see him at the table?
Miracle was even counsel. She was giving legal counsel at that
We saw him at the table, Miracle.
I just want to know how much they paid you.
Did you see him at the table? Did you listen? First of all, we just saw an AI generated a whole AI generated ad. Do we have proof? Right? Do we have proof that that's his voice?
According to
from the woke leftist IRS and FBI that's been tampering with his phones. It's not going to work. This man is like psychotic. They should have arrested him before he ran for office.
Definitely.
He, Santos, they got away with it.
So
they're going to be next to OJ. If I did it, this is what I would have done. And how in like 5 years. Sometimes you got to accept they got away with it. They got away with it.
But if there is a tape, okay, let's say, Miracle, you're a lawyer, right? Let's say there is a tape. Because according, it says an audio recording from July 2021 reportedly reveals Trump saying he could not show this classified document to others because they did not have clearance to view the classified document, and he didn't have the authority to declassify it, but he had it on his person. So let's say.
So he's in trouble for protecting classified information.
You can't protect it if it's in your house. Miracle, it's in your house.
Listen,
your house isn't protected.
When you have trust issues, who's going to trust you better than yourself?
Well, where is it now? Did he sell it?
I don't know.
Obviously,
it's not like my thing is it's probably not going to happen because yes, did he violate the law? Yes, did he have the intention to break the law? Yes, which was different between him and Joe Biden.
Yes,
Joe Biden they were all just moving all their paperwork and had some documents that are unclassified.
And they asked Joe Biden, he gave everything back. It wasn't a thing. Trump was fighting to keep shit.
Correct. So there are actual differences, but when it comes to Trump, he has a whole lifetime of breaking the law and not getting away with it. For me, I think Trump is going to do something stupid like get into a car accident and hit somebody, and that's what's going to make him go to jail. It's not going to be all of the things that he has intentionally broken the law for, because you remember he posted on Truth Social that thing. It looked like he was hitting the DA with the bat. Nothing happened to him for that. Well, so he's not going to go down.
In that case, Miracle, that he has 34 felonies, there's an audio recording of him in that case as well, and a witness in the court filings made public on Friday. No, Miracle?
Oh, I thought that was a dramatic pause. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay.
No, and here's also the thing. It's like most people get in trouble because they admit stuff on the phone. Like a lot of people sit in jail, they're on the phone, they admit stuff, and that gets them taken down. He is good because he knows he's being listened to, and so I think he thinks he's smart enough to out to outfox the feds. And obviously he's not going to, but I just don't think that you're going to be able to find a jury of 12 to convict him.
Wow. Trouble. Farouk. Is Trump going down?
I think so. It just keeps getting worse and
It
worse.
keeps getting worse and worse.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's inevitable at this point.
I just want to know, like, what makes this different than all of the other evidences against him? Like,
Well,
how is he?
You know, the kids say, if they caught you in 4K.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's been caught before.
In 4K, though?
Yeah.
Maybe HD, but like, you know, maybe 1080p, but like, I mean, he hasn't been locked up yet.
He has not.
He's not in jail.
But it said it's a charging decision nears. You know what I'm saying? Remember, when he made all that noise last time, it took a couple of days, but he was indicted in New York City. He didn't have to do the mugshot and all that, but he was indicted. Now he's making all this noise again, and it looks like another indictment looms.
I just want to know, what deal are they cutting behind the table, like behind the scenes, that we're not privy to, that's been keeping him out of jail. Like, what is
I don't think it's a deal. I think that people saw that clown show, right?
Right,
They
yeah.
saw
And they're afraid of that.
Of white supremacists attacking the Capitol. Right. And I think that as what's happening now is it doesn't seem like his popularity is the same way than it was, right?
No, I would say you're right.
It seems like his popularity is seemingly every day is falling.
With that niche group of people that is his main constituency, I believe they're as loyal as ever.
True, but remember, it wasn't like they didn't show up in New York City.
No.
And, protect him with the Capitol. Not a lot of people showed up. Now, mind you, that is New York City is different than maybe like a southern state or area. And then remember, Proud Boys, they just got indicted for... What was it? It was
sedition.
Sedition, right? Some of the Oath Keepers got sedition. So this is kind of like his army. A lot of these dudes is in jail. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And maybe, you think like, okay, well, he not going to make it to pardon everybody. Would you put your life and possible freedom on the line?
I think a lot of those people would. I think that's what they're doing. That's why they're taking that jail
man.
time. I think that they're just kind of laying their bodies down as cannon fodder to protect him.
Well, again, I think that if it was closer to 2020, maybe. Because it could have been like he's still president. Now, I mean, even if you believe that he won the election, he ain't president.
Let me say this. On the flight back, Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, there was a pilot sitting next to me.
Okay.
Right? And I happened to look over as we was about to land, and he's going through his iPad or whatever. He had like 18 messages, no lie, from Donald Trump. Had
like fundraising shit. Had his American flag tie on and everything.
So it's just like there are still people out here, and that are very much adamant about Trump. This is Trump's America still.
Who had that?
The pilot that was sitting next to me.
Of the plane, or like was he jump seating?
I don't know what that jump seating means.
Yeah, he wasn't flying the plane.
He wasn't flying, no, but he was taking. I think he was taking the next flight.
So like jump seat. So basically, you know how we fly standby as like normal.
Yeah.
But for the pilots and the crew, it's like they're jumping.
Okay.
You never saw Catch Me If You Can?
When I was younger.
Amazing flick.
That's with Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Yeah.
So I'm coming again to you, Miracle. It seems like, when the shows are Miracle focused, they kind of be hot. But again, we're coming to you, Miracle, because of what we saw take place in your home state.
Oh God.
In Atlanta, where we saw this, Atlanta approving the funds to build Cop City, right? Despite the fact that it was, all this opposition to it, so much so that, and it was this whole piece where they weren't letting people in, even though there were seats inside because they were against this Cop City funding. All these police officers showed up.
Cop City, bitch.
Right.
Cop City, bitch.
You already,
Cop City, bitch. Cop City, bitch.
We already lost.
No.
Tort.
We already lost Tort, right? And that's the more we learn about that, the more it looks like a police execution, right? Like the police, shot them down. We just saw the police identify like the bail fund, the bail fund for protesters and just arrest them, and then there was a conversation with cops basically saying like why they arrested them. They did, they just wanted them out of the picture. And then we found out, Miracle, that the 30 million, it was actually like triple the amount. It went from 30 million for Cop City, now it's 90 million. And yet still in a quote unquote black city with a quote unquote black mayor, a city that upholds Martin Luther King and John Lewis, that they approved, it says by 11-4. That's not even close.
It is not close. And not to endorse, Brother West, but this Cop City has shown that Democrats will enact their own type of fascism when they're trying to push their own ways and their own policies. Not only did they try to ban water for people getting into city council, just like Republicans tried to ban water for people sitting in line to vote. Not only did they try to prevent people accessing democracy, just like Republicans have prevented people from accessing democracy by putting up all of these requirements for people to sign in and talk to people. They have also tried to lie and said people caring about Cop City are not from Atlanta. They tried to push this false narrative. And so they really adopted the outside agitator narrative that Republicans have always used for Black Lives Matter protesters and organizers, and it has dismissed the legitimate concerns about Cop City. Cop City is an ecological disaster. It is a training site that's going to train police officers how to stifle rights, how to prevent good trouble in the heart of Atlanta, where John Lewis fought so hard for people to organize and galvanize. Atlanta is now going to become the home where you actually are going to be able to learn how to stop repression, how to assault people, how to incarcerate people. We've watched as terrorism labels have been used against organizers. We've watched as lawyers and access to First Amendment has really been trifled upon. And it's heartbreaking that it is a black mayor in a black city, where it's going to be black people who are going to be bearing the brunt of this disaster and its violence. And there's no silver awning for this, right? There is no requirement that these officers actually adopt this training. There's no requirement that this training doesn't kill people. There's no requirement that this training is less lethal. There's no requirement that this training is de-escalation. This is a bunch of people, some who are, by the way, are not even from Georgia, basically saying we're tired of all these homeless folks outside of our windows, and we want to train police officers how to kill and remove them.
And from what I understand, Miracle, Atlanta specifically has like the largest wealth gap, of any major city in the United States. So much so that they say like it's like clearly the largest. And so again, here we go with like, what makes communities safe? We know it's not the presence of police, because the city that has the most police per capita is Chicago. And Chicago is, really the poster child that most people use for violent cities. So if the presence of police meant safety, Chicago would be the safest city, but it's not, right? So what makes communities safe? It's resources, right? It's having access to money and good homes and good jobs, right? And resources, things for the children to do. And so here again, we take 90 million and we don't try to use it to uplift the poorest communities, which would actually make them safer, but we're going to fund already well-funded police and military. It's not like the police are operating some deficit. They already are super well-funded, super supported, super backed. Same with the military. So we're going to give them even more money. And again, like you said, these are black people that are leading this charge. Did you all have any comments around Cop City?
I think that what happens is they hear these talking points about the community needs more resources, how cops aren't equipped to handle mental health and stuff like that. So then they think in their minds, So you mean to tell me the cops need more resources?
Right,
All right, cool.
right.
We're going to put more money into the police. Oh, so if the police can't handle mental health resources, that means they need more money to do so. And I feel like, it makes me distrust Democrats because they're hearing these arguments and they're making us feel like they're hearing it with compassion.
Yes.
And then they go to these police boards like, hey, the community's saying we need more resources. Here you go.
It's like,
do you have a solution to these problems?
Right. You run on this compassion, and then it's like when you win. Because I remember one of the first things that the mayor, what's this man's name?
Andre Dickens.
Andre Dickens did.
Who was only there because there was a rumor that the other opponent was going to shut down the strip clubs.
Right. True. Wow.
And I have to remind people of this because people really picked Andre as this progressive Democrat who was going to fight for the people, who was going to defund the police, who was going to do criminal justice reform, this is what they got instead.
Because he actually, one of the first things he did was overturned the closing of a jail. He actually created the legislation that closed the jail, became mayor, and was let's fill the jail up with poor people. And so it is like you said, it becomes, it's like duplicitous. It's you're telling us one thing, and then you get in office, and then all of a sudden you do all of this other stuff. You had any comment, Fruit?
I mean, I was listening to all you say such great things about this, and to me, it looks like Americans have replaced their love for the military with police.
Yeah, 100%.
And they've looked at the military as kind of like this afterthought of everything. No longer concerned with freedom over shores or democracy, whatever lie they tell people. It's no longer that. It's this obsession with this, militarized terroristic force that they can see every single day. You don't see soldiers every day.
True.
You might see, the weekend warriors, your reserves or whatever, but they're not in their uniforms walking the street every day. You do, however, see police officers every day. Yeah. And you equate this with something that's become idolized, iconicized, much in the way of the 80 propaganda films of Commando and Predator and Rambo, cop-a-ganda. So this cop-a-ganda now has permeated into daily American life. Right. And you see them as these larger than life characters. And a lot of people get enamored with this, your Proud Boys, your Oath Keepers, your Kyle Rittenhouses, your average homegrown vigilantes that look at this and be
Daniel Perry.
Right. And who was military. And what happens when most of these people come out the military? They go into law enforcement. Right. And they look into this as they romanticize I can do this. Yeah. Well, I can be they champion the violence and they champion they champion kind of that murder porn aspect of it.
Absolutely.
And just like what Mark Wahlberg said very infamously in The Departed, do you really want to be a cop or you just want to slam a nigga's head through the window?
Yeah. And mind you, brother, it's this is in the backdrop because it's also this. It's propaganda, but it's also sold to us as the only thing. It's the only solution to safety, right?
Yeah.
It's an uptick in violence, and it's the only thing we can think of.
And it's so unimaginative.
Yeah, for safety, it's we need more police, and the police got to have bigger guns and better guns and more guns. And remember, this is in the backdrop of we just saw an 11-year-old boy who was shot in the chest, after they called 911 for the police to come. And according to this 11-year-old boy who, spoke so powerfully in the interview, he did what the police said. Come out with your hands up. He came out with his hands up and was still shot by the police, right? We see it's another case unfolding right now in Florida of a black mother of 4 who was shot and killed by her neighbor, right? AJ Owen, she was 35. And again, she's shot and killed. Another black person shot through the door, apparently, because this is unfolding now, right? We don't know. We haven't heard the name of the person that shot her, but we know the person's white. We know it's a white woman. We know she wasn't arrested. We know her name hasn't been given. Similarly to the man who shot Ralph Yarrow wasn't arrested when he initially folks had to go and protest in front of the house. And so it is weird to see a black city. We see all these examples of policing gone wrong over and over and over and over again. And then we say, hey, I know it's going to make, because you could probably call Atlanta the blackest city in America.
Right.
Right? It used to be D.C. It ain't D.C. It's Atlanta. We're going to give you all this $90 million military cop facility. And like, that's going to keep, it doesn't even make logical sense. Am I tripping?
Nah, not at all. Like,
yeah. So here's the question for the table. Okay. We saw a video that was kind of going viral online from Dr. Umar Johnson. And Dr. Umar Johnson, because I think, here we go, Miracle. We're like, we voted the progressive brother in. 11-4 was the vote. It's not even close. I'm assuming most of those are black people on the council. Is voting something that we need to continue investing in? Play the Dr. Umar clip. This is what Dr. Umar.
End of the day, if voting could change anything, voting would be illegal.
what the hell?
What happened?
Democracy is a scam. Democracy is a system created by those in power to make poor people think you can radically transform your reality without violence and revolution. That's all democracy. That's why America says we got to make the world safe for democracy. Why you got to make the world safe for democracy? Because if most of the people in the world woke up, they would understand a ballot ain't going to change shit. Bullets do. Show me a revolution, Queen.
So pause that.
Has ever changed anything?
Okay, so Miracle. We do voting education work.
I'm glad we're having this conversation.
Yes.
Yeah. So ballots do change things.
100%.
And if you don't believe me, can you get your medication as a transgender person in Florida right now?
You can.
Ballots change everything.
That was a great
Can
point.
you, as a person who is an immigrant, live with your undocumented partner in Florida right now?
Right.
Ballots don't change anything. Can you, as a 15-year-old, be outside in Baltimore right now?
Right.
Ballots don't change anything. Can you, as a pregnant person in Idaho, cross the border right now and worried about being arrested and being accused of seeking an abortion?
Yeah.
Ballots change things.
100%.
And for a lot of us as poor working class people, ballots change things for the negative. Can you go outside and smoke your joint? Can you go outside and be topless? Ballots change stuff for our lives. The problem is the people who are on these ballots aren't always invested in making our lives easier. Right? People are like, you know what? I don't like those black people. So now NYPD can post because of a ballot saying you cannot barbecue on your own front porch.
Wow.
You cannot hang out on your own sidewalk because of a ballot. I've talked about this before, and I'll say trigger warning. One of my friends a few years ago was the individual who took the lives of 2 police officers. Y'all would say that was revolution. That got us Blue Lives Matter legislation.
100%.
That got police officers put as a protected class.
Yeah.
So if you say something, you can be accused of committing a hate crime against the police officer.
We saw that happen right here in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Bullets do not always bring about revolution.
1,000%.
Bullets do not always bring about change.
Yeah.
We've seen things called repression and a response. In our communities, no community is strong enough to fight the American government.
Yeah.
No community. This is
Absolutely
not. You know, the Civil War.
Yeah, this ain't right.
The Revolutionary War.
You got a musket, I got a musket.
Like,
it's both taking us 21 minutes to load the motherfucker. Yeah.
These bullets cannot make any changes.
Yeah,
you know what happened when black people had a bullet?
Yeah.
California came and said, now we're going to put in laws that you can. That's why we have gun reform.
100%.
And that's why so many black people
Panthers,
have gun possession charges, and they've never shot a gun, never harmed anybody with a gun.
It's always weird to me, Miracle, when a person that is advocating for this has never organized any type of revolutionary. Like, you could use the same argument that Dr. Umar's making against Dr. Umar. You can say, Dr. Umar, you've been speaking for 20 years.
Yeah.
You've done thousands of speeches. Has the black community got better since they've been listening to you, Dr. Umar? Hey, Dr. Umar, if you were so revolutionary and good for black people, wouldn't they have made your speeches illegal?
When you got that school built?
What, no, I'm just saying they would have. Wouldn't they have kicked him off of social media?
Come on,
they kicked other people off of social media, right?
Yeah,
they still allow you on social media if you were so instrumental. I mean, but really, I mean, come on, are we going to trust? Like you said, are we going to trust a man who has? How long? It's been like 10 years, and you still don't have a school bill. Now you're gonna organize an army? Come on, Dr. Umar.
You can't even get niggas to come to school, bro.
You can't even get the school built. You know what I'm saying?
I think but he does have a point, and I want to be very clear about this because last night's vote in the city of Atlanta belies his point. There is a frustration, and an anger that some of our conditions have not changed as a people, even though we are the most to vote. And a lot of times that voting is not harm reduction, it's protection.
True.
Because we know if another person gets in office, they're going to do worse by our community and for our community. What I would like to see is a lot of these people making more demands of Kamala, more demands of Biden, more demands of your mayor and your city council people, and makes basically until you're able to vote them out, show that they don't have the best interest of your community, because there's no reason that our communities are impacted by homelessness and joblessness, and our children are being in little gun warfare because these politicians aren't doing what they're supposed to do. And so I think that Umar is speaking to people who are frustrated and angry, but you also have to remember there are a lot of black people who cannot legally vote because they've been disenfranchised as well. And so there are people who are sitting on the outskirts who are impacted by policy and will never be able to vote, never be able to impact policy because somebody got on a ballot and said, if you're a felon, you cannot vote in this country. And so this is something that we have to be very mindful about, especially as we go into 2024, because the black vote is at play. And I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I think any candidate that speaks to you is the candidate you go for, but you should have demands of that candidate. And I would like to see a Umar or a Trade Nasheed actually teach people how to lobby their legislators instead of saying this voting tool doesn't work, abandon it.
Yeah, I think they're more concerned about getting you to come to their conferences, paying them a bunch of money to hear them speak. But Miracle, that's why you broke it down. That's why we need President Cornell Wests in 2024. I'm all on board, Miracle. I'm there. You broke it down. You showed me the way, Miracle. So we have a clip. I don't know if this is Karen of the week or whatever, but it was a clip. Was this a congressperson? Where was this?
It was in the Upside Down.
Do we know what the context of the clip is, though? And it's funny, I'm saying that as the person who sent the clip to the group.
I really don't and I wish we had more information around this because this is just like fucking wild.
We gotta get some more information. Okay, so this is in Oklahoma, and this is let me see. Let me find the information. Of course it is, right? Mm-hmm. But basically, they were discussing, books they want to ban. I mean, I think this is where we are right now, right? They want to ban books. They don't want people to actually learn the truth. And this senator from Oklahoma, and I'm assuming he's a state senator from Oklahoma, talked about this book specifically that he did not want in his classroom. Did you want to play that clip? And then we'll get more information about this man and where this took place.
Oh, wait. Spacebar forsaken me.
What this book says. You guys might find it interesting. A long time ago, way before you were born, a group of white people made up an idea called race. Mm-hmm. They sorted people by skin color and said that white people were better, smarter, prettier, and they deserved more than everybody else.
Exactly what they did.
This would be taught if we socialize our pre-K system, this would be taught.
Do you disagree with that findings in the book?
1,000%.
That's
How about
Bernie.
we teach Jesus loves me? How about this? In teaching Jesus loves the little children, the lyrics go red and yellow, black and white.
Christian?
They're all precious in our sight. Now, which one would you think would be better? I'll ask everybody on the panel. Which is better to teach? This, that is a story that was made up to teach our kids, 3-year-olds who have no idea what race is, now all of a sudden is being taught that white people said this as a truth.
Yes.
Someone point at me that this being a truth, that white people developed race.
First, it is important that we teach Jesus. And
Absolutely.
Jesus is what we teach.
So which one is
But
better?
the reality
This?
is...
So do you
I
think
thought you couldn't teach Jesus in school.
No, keep playing.
this is
Could
the
she
right
answer
thing?
the question, please?
I don't want reality. I'm asking the question, which one is better? That is exactly.
All
that's
right,
exactly
pretty
what it
much.
is.
That's the punchline, right?
I don't want reality.
I don't want reality. So Mark Wayne Mullen, and his name is Mark Wayne, not Mark Wayne. Mark Wayne.
That's his first name.
Mark Wayne Mullen.
Okay.
Is a United States Senator from Oklahoma. So this was being discussed in the Senate. Shout out to Bernie Sanders, Senator Bernie Sanders, who was kind of checking them. So again, I think this is where we are, right? Mark Wayne Mullen doesn't want his children. Like, where did the concept of race come from? Black people that, hey, you know what would we be good for? Let's create this concept where everybody white gets treated better than us.
Right, yeah.
Obviously, white people, and again, this is a documented fact. You can go research and find where the concept of race began, why it began, right? And, you know, you can break that down. And like the idea that like we shouldn't teach this to children, why not? We shouldn't teach children. But again, he doesn't want reality. He doesn't want children to be taught the reality of the world that they have to face, particularly black, brown, because the reality of the world, he's doing well. This man is a senator.
Yeah.
This obviously does not sound like an intelligent human being.
Clearly,
he's looking at a true fact and is like, oh, this is Jesus. We should teach Jesus loves me. And like you said, Farouk, I thought in public school I thought we were supposed to separate
separation of church
state.
and state. Yeah, like, you know, and that's the thing. It's like you're going off the auspices that everybody believes that you believe.
No,
Right?
they're not. But you know, since white people have came to this country, that's been the thing. You have to believe how I believe.
Yeah.
Talk to the indigenous people about the fact that they were like literally like beaten and massacred.
Right.
So they could like and forced to like be Christians, right? And our community, many of our community and the black people that were brought over here were not Christians.
Absolutely.
But were forced into Christianity through slavery, right?
Right.
But so that's they're continuing on that mentality of forcing people to be Christians and love Christianity, even if that's not our belief. Do you have any comment on Senator Mullen?
A mess.
Miracle?
I mean, that's why you got to watch Dante's episode
Yes.
with us last week. I know a lot of people have been watching it, which is great. But even if you're uncomfortable with learning about systemic racism, you have to understand that children understand race because their parents are teaching them about race. Their society is teaching them about race. And they're literally trying to get these kids not to bully each other and not to harm each other based on race. And so as much as teachers don't want to talk about issues in the world, they have to be equipped to respond to it within their classroom. And lastly, nobody is talking about systemic white supremacy to pre-K.
Nobody.
That's not what they're
Come on,
doing.
Miracle.
Like, these are upper level courses and conversations. This is something you talk about like in your high school courses, even sometimes in middle school. I mean, you have to be mindful that some of these middle school children are exhibiting behaviors of racism, use racial slurs, or harming each other. Some of these kids are committing sexual assault as well. And so teachers have to teach things to their students to make sure all of their students are safe, because clearly their parents may be teaching them the wrong things. And so I don't understand why the senator is so upset, because again, if all the children are precious in his site, then all the children should be reflected in the history books. All the children's cultures should be uplifted and respected at school, and all the children should be safe in these institutions, which clearly they are not.
And all the children should be like fed and clothed, right? Which they also are not. And this is the reality. I mean, the reality of black people in America is like, loving Jesus don't save us.
That's a fact, man. Come on.
We've been loving Jesus since we came to this. And you could call us the greatest
the most
lovers of Jesus.
Yeah, man,
we
black people they love
Jesus. And that doesn't save us from being shot down, killed, denied justice, denied food, denied proper clothing, denied proper schools, denied proper housing. You know what I'm saying? That has not stopped you from being a white supremacist towards me because I love Jesus, right? You know, there's that clip, that famous clip of James Baldwin where he quotes Malcolm X saying that, high noon on Sunday is the most segregated hour in America, right?
Yep.
Because we love Jesus don't mean I can worship with you, fellowship with you, be a part of your clubs, right? Have access to the same resources that you have. So you don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? You don't believe that just the love of Jesus qualifies you to love me. You know what I'm saying? Most of the lovers of Jesus we know were shot down and killed, including Dr. Martin Luther King. So
we have church bombings. We just had Dylan Roof, walk into a church a couple years ago and kill people. Loving someone's religion doesn't prevent you or doesn't grant you safety. Tree of life.
Absolutely. 1,000%. Trial going on right now.
Yeah, trial is happening right now. So that false narrative
100%.
It's madness because you're thinking that people who believe what you believe and the people who voted for you are going to see these black people that they hate as good Christians.
Absolutely. And it goes right into our white pages, right?
Fear of black consciousness.
I think Senator Mullen.
Your intro?
I think Senator Mullen.
White pages.
Senator Mullen has a fear of black consciousness.
Facts.
So fear of black consciousness is our white pages today. Lewis R. Gordon. Here's a quote on the back. Oh, he got some heavy hitters quotes. Lewis R. Gordon's expansive philosophical engagement with the current moment, its histories and globalities, its policies, its politics and protests, its visual and sonic cultures remind us that the ultimate aim of black freedom quest is indeed universal liberation. That is from our sister Angela Davis. You know what I'm saying? So Fear of Black Consciousness, Lewis R. Gordon, is a book that you can get. And do we have any events, things coming up?
We have Futures Black,
Yes.
Friday, June 23rd. It's Friday, June 23rd, right here at the Black Box.
Yes.
Starting at 6 p.m. There's going to be some dope artists. There's going to be some dope performing artists. It's going to be a dope time.
This is in Pittsburgh for those that are in Pittsburgh or the Pittsburgh area. We also have a conversation coming up June 15th, a conversation around Juneteenth and hip hop that we're doing, collaborating with the University of Pittsburgh on where it's a panel. Yeah. Paradise Grays on the panel, Fed to Gods on the panel, Special K's on the panel, Hardo's on the panel, the rapping principal. What's the sister's name? Who's the rapping principal? She's dope is on the panel. And so that'll be June 15th. Get on our website and our social media and get it. June 19th, Artist Liberation is back. We celebrating with the Pirates. We're going to be inside the stadium, so we need y'all to buy a ticket to Artist Liberation. Come see the Pirates play the Cubs. The Pirates are damn near in first place right now.
Man,
right?
Looking great. Playing great baseball.
But also, we're going to have 13 black visual artists inside the stadium. And if you buy the ticket with the link in our social media, money goes to to Catapult Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying? A dope organization. We got State of Black Pittsburgh coming up June 29th. There's a lot happening. And we just announced that we're celebrating hip-hop's birthday.
With arguably the greatest group of all time.
Come on, man. With the Locks, man. The Locks. Coming to Pittsburgh August 11th. We're doing that in collaboration with the Cultural Trust of Pittsburgh. So we got a lot happening, a lot going on. And I'm excited to continue to do positive things in the city of Pittsburgh And the last thing I'll say is I wasn't here. I was kind of tight because it was really dope to see the look on the children's faces as we supported 2 elementary schools to go see The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, it was dope.
You know what I'm saying? And I just saw the pictures and I was like, man, I wish I could have been there. So, I mean, we want her. We're going to keep serving and helping the community as well.
Absolutely.
So you already know what it is. Any other final words?
Just shout out to the teachers because when I got there, she's one of the childless people. And there were so many children, and
You got a little nervous.
I did. I was like, "Oh my god!" And just that the teachers
You're just
and
gonna
the
start
teachers
throwing candy bars at them. Just
Oh shit!
grab these candy bars.
It was so funny. The kids were so cute. They gave standing ovations. They were clapping in the movie. It was like really good. It was like really, really funny to see. But just like shout out to the teachers because I know, like I would not have been able to take care of like over 300 kids. So like that was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah, shout out to those teachers. Final words, Shumble?
Never lose sight.
Never lose sight. And my brother.
I have a headache.
Okay, well, you know what I'm saying? And hopefully next week I'll have my voice a little bit better. And so, we'll see what it is. So until next time, this has been This Week in White Supremacy. Peace. One hood, y'all.